Good day, students. Welcome to today's lesson on business studies for JSS 3. Get your writing materials done and get yourself focused. Remember, bookkeeping is a practical class. That is to say that everybody must participate. Now we are going to do revision. You know we have done this thing, but we are still going to revise on it. That is, the topic is posting from ledger account to trial balance. Posting from ledger account to trial balance. Remember, in our bookkeeping lesson, or bookkeeping aspect of the business studies, we started from source documents to ledger, journals, from journals to ledger. Then this ledger account comprises the cash book, remember? And in that cash book, we have 4 types of cash book. Who can tell me the 4 types? Who can give me the 4 types of cash book? Yes, Cecilia. Very good. She said the 4 types of cash book include single column cash book, double column cash book, 3 column cash book, and petty cash book. So these are the types of cash book. They are called the ledger account. So we are looking at posting from this ledger account into trial balance. Remember that it involves calculation. Be attentive and be calculative so that we'll flow in one rate, in the same rate. Now, the objective. At the end of the lesson, I will want you to post into ledger account and extract a trial balance. Post into a ledger account and extract a trial balance. As simple as it is, let us proceed. Now remember that accounts are transferred from journal entries into ledger accounts. Remember. And from this ledger accounts into trial balance. Now before we proceed, we are going to recall ledger, what ledger is. A ledger is the principal book of accounts into which transactions are recorded first before they are taken to other books of accounts such as cash book. That is to tell you that ledger is the number 1 book of accounts. Before you prepare your accounts, you must have already prepared your ledger account. Then from there now you proceed to other types of accounts. Now, trial balance. Remember what trial balance is. Trial balance is a list of balances extracted from the ledger accounts, including cash book. I repeat. Trial balance is a list of balances extracted from the ledger account, including cash book. It is used to test the arithmetical accuracy of the ledger entry. It is used to test the arithmetical accuracy of the ledger entries. That is to say that after working on your ledger, you now try the balances in your trial balance to see if it is accurate. You try the balances to see if the account is accurate. Now, remember again, before a trial balance is extracted, remember we have done this, it's just a revision because of your exam. Before a trial balance is extracted, the cash book and the ledger accounts are usually balanced. You plot them, you prepare them, and balance them. And the balance CDs, we already knew what balance CDs are. That is, at the end of balancing your account, the balance you have is called the balance CD, balance carried down, are posted into the trial balance. Then once that is done, then you know if they are equal. They must be equal. The two sides must be the same figure, must be the same thing, before you now know that this, your account, is accurate. Okay. Remember, the debit side and the credit side of the trial balance must be equal. And when there is a difference between the two sides, then some errors have been made, such as 1. Error of omission. It might be that you omitted one thing, you omitted a figure, you omitted a transaction. 2. Error of commission. It might be an error that you committed. Instead of you wrote what you supposed not. Maybe you brought in a figure that shouldn't be there. It's an commission, error of commission. You have error of original entry. Error of original entry might be writing something that should be written at the credit side, credit transaction, as a debit transaction. So you have seen that you made the error originally. Then another one is error of complete reversal of entry. That is, writing transaction, calling a transaction a debit transaction, why it should be a debit transaction. Okay. Now, you've already known the format of trial balance. You write the trial balance off, then you write the name and the title of the account. Okay, Mr. Nwafo trial balance as at. You always put the date of the account, the date you are preparing, as at the period you are preparing the account. Now, simply, the format is writing the name, writing the title of the account, then rule your particulars. Another column, debit transaction. Another one is credit transaction. That is where you record the credit transaction. Thank you. Thank you. Now, before you should do that, you adopt some steps. Steps to adopt in extracting a trial balance. Write up the cash book before posting to the ledger account. That is to say, you must first of all prepare your cash book. Whether it is a single cash book, it is a 3-column cash book or 2, whichever one. First, write the cash book. The second one is you post to the ledger. Understand this one very well and bear it in mind. Post to the ledger account all items, to the ledger account all items on the debit side of the cash book, to the credit side of their respective ledger account. While all items on the credit side of the cash book will appear on the debit side of their respective ledger. That is to say that when you plot your cash book, all the transactions you see on the debit side, when you are plotting the respective account, like wage now, remember that sales is a debit transaction. When you are plotting sales account on the ledger, you bring it to the credit side. It is no longer going to be at the debit side. It will be recorded in the credit side. So that is That number 2 step. Then number 3 is you extract your trial balance. Now let us illustrate it. Let us use this illustration. That is example 1. Enter the following transactions into the appropriate ledger and extract a trial balance. June 1, Mr. Owolabi started business in electronics with capital in cash of 201,680 naira. Be taking note of it. We are solving it together, all together. Then on June 4th, bought 6 tape recorders in cash. 6 recorders in cash. 120,000 naira. June 6, sold 3 tapes recorders for cash, 90,000 naira. On June 8, paid for advertising, 25,000 naira. June 10, paid wages. 20,000 naira. On June 11th, bought 6 additional recorders, 110,000 naira only. Then on June 15, sold tape recorder in cash, 60,000 naira. These are the transactions. Now once you look at the transaction from what the man deals on, you will see that the man deals on electronics. So when you go to the market, you purchase something that you resell, you call it purchases. I've said it over and over again. Like bought 6 tape recorders. This tape recorder, he will resell them and get income. So you call it purchases. So 3 tape recorder. This is what the man deals on. So let us first of all solve the cash book. Remember the first step. The first step say that you prepare the cash book. Then the second one, you post into the ledger. But there is something we are going to do because of our time. We are going to jump the ledgers, preparing the respective ledgers. Since you have known how to post into the trial balance, from the cash book, you can post directly into the trial balance. You can try your balance directly without going to the rigorous processes of opening if you start it now, we'll be ruling. I've told you that before. So how do we do that? Let us plot. The first thing, and it's a must, is that you plot your cash book. Then from our question, remember, we are going to look at the illustration and put it into the cash book. From our question, it says that the man started business. So the money you use in starting up business is called what? Chidera. Very good. Capital. The money is called capital. So capital is an initial amount used in starting up a business. So now, June 1, you rule your cash book. Date, particulars, folio amount. Date, particular folio amount. Remember your credit, your debit side. Remember your credit side. The left hand side, the debit side. The right hand side, the credit side. Then under the date column, you write your date, June 1. From our question, started business, just call it under the particulars. Just call it capital. You write the capital, you go to the amount column, no folio, no page number, so you leave that one vacant. You go straight to the amount column, 201,680 naira. You leave it. You look for another date. Another date is June 4th. Bought 6 tape recorders. 6 tape recorders in cash. And the amount is 120. What do you call it? You don't just go and write bought this. There is something you call it. It has a name. Darlington. Okay. Purchases. Yes, it's called purchases. You failed it. Listen and pay attention. Get yourself focused. Okay? Is it a credit transaction or a debit transaction? credit transaction. Okay, you write 120. June 6 is the next one. Sold 3 tape recorders for cash. Is it a debit transaction or a credit transaction? Okay, debit transaction. Chidera, why is it a debit transaction? Just tell me. Okay. It is a debit. He said it is a debit transaction because he sold the goods and received money into the organization. That is to say, money flowed into the organization. So you record at the amount 90,000 naira. Then the next date is June 8. Paid for advertising. Is it a debit entry or a credit entry? Okay, it's a credit entry. You write advertising, go to the amount column and write 25,000 naira. The next transaction is what? June 10. What happened? Paid wages. And the amount is 20,000. A debit transaction or a credit transaction? Yes, it's a credit transaction because money flowed out of the business. Under the particular, you write wages, then the amount is what? 20,000 naira as well. What other transaction? June 11th. Bought 6 additional recorders. At what? 110,000 naira. What do you call it again? Very good. Purchases. You don't just go and mention 6 additional recorders. You just call it purchase because that is what you will resell. I said again. Okay. The amount, you go to the amount column and write it. So that is it. Then, another transaction is June 15. What happened? Sold tape recorders in cash. A debit entry or a credit entry? Debit entry. Very good. You write sales. Then under the amount column, you write 60,000 naira. Is there any other transaction? Yes. No. Very good. No. There is no other transaction. It means that you are paying attention. Thank you for that. Then, what next are we to do? Remember, we've learned how to balance a cash book since. Who can recall? Who can tell me? Okay, you. Rebecca. Very good. Okay. She said is by totaling all the amounts on the debit side on a rough sheet, on a piece of paper, not directly, and totaling or summing up all the amounts on the credit side on that same place to know the difference between the two. Once you determine the difference between the two, you place it at that side that has lesser amount, which is the credit side, which is usually the credit side, as what? Balance sheet. That is the difference you write to, not the total amount. On a rough sheet, on a piece of paper, not directly, I'm saying. That's where you record, you total this. Okay. Now let us calculate all the transactions. 201,000 naira, 680 plus 90,000 naira plus 60,000 naira will give us what? Will give us 351,680. You leave it. Then on the credit side, let us sum up, let us total the figures. The first one is 120,000 plus 25,000. That is 145,000 naira plus 20,000 again. The totaling is 120,000 plus 25,000 naira plus 25,000 naira plus 110,000 naira. That should give us 275,000 naira. Am I right? Calculate it very well. Then you now minus the lesser figure from the bigger or the higher amount figure. That will give us 76,000 naira. The difference is 76,680. Now write it on the next line. Come to the particulars and write balance CD. Then total the two again together with the difference. You will see that everything will give you the same amount of the debit side, which is 351,680. Am I right? 351,680 naira. Very good. Then on the debit side, you write on the date, July 1. Write on the particulars balance BD, on the folio BD, then on the amount. Write that difference, the difference you got. Write it. And that difference is what? 76,680. That is, we have balanced our cash book. Then the next thing we ought to do is opening a separate ledger for all these transactions. But it is time. It takes time. It costs time. It takes time. So instead of us, because of our exam, to start opening a respective ledger for each of the transactions, let us move straight to the trial balance, extracting a trial balance. Then write it. Mr. Owalabi trial balance as at 15th June 2008. That's the period we are working for. Then you rule your date, your particulars, the debit and the credit. Just particulars, debit and credit. Just 3 columns. Now, remember, the capital, I've said, those things that appeal at the debit, in the trial balance, they will come to the credit. You remember? Now, on that our cash book, the capital is on which side? Debit. Now, where should it be in the trial balance? Very good. It should be on the credit side. That is 201,680 naira. Then the next transaction on that our cash book is what? Sales. Now we have 2 sales, right? The 90,000 naira and the 60,000 naira. Let us add the 2 together. Okay, add the 2 together. Be fast. Our time is rushing. Our time is going. Okay, 150,000 naira. That's good. So we sum up the sales. Had it been that we have about 5 of them or 6 of them, we still sum the 2. We still sum all of them up. We still total all of them and know the amount. So our sales now appeared on the debit side of the cash book. Now where will it be? On the credit side in the trial balance. Then write it. 150,000 naira. Okay, let's go to the debit credit side. The first transaction there is purchases. Then our purchase is how much? Very good. She's reminding me, listen. She's reminding me that we have 2 purchases. Yes, we have 2 purchases there. What we should do is what? We bring the 2 together and add up. So the amount is 120,000 and 110,000 naira. That should give us what? That's good. 230,000 naira. Then we have it at the credit side in the cash book. Now we are not going to write it at the debit side. Simple. The next one is what? Advertising. We have only one advertising, and in our cash book, our advertising is on the which side? On the credit side. Now, in the trial balance, is going to be on the debit side, 25,000 naira. The next transaction there is what? Wages. Wages is what? 20,000 naira. And in our cash book, we have it at the credit side, right? Now, in this trial balance, it will come over to the debit side. That is it. Then, that's not all. Or you add up these things. Add up the two. You will see that they are not the same. There is something we are missing. What is that? There is something that we should include to make up the balances. What is it? What is it? What is the amount? Very good. The cash book balance. That's very lovely. That's very good. Get yourself focused. Pay attention. Be attentive to the class. You understand it. It is not difficult. This is just a revision we are doing. You understand it. Okay. The balance BD, the balance CD appeared where? In the cash book, where do we have our balance CD? At the credit side. Now, in this trial balance, where should we place it? That's lovely. Very good. We are going to place it at the debit side. And the amount is what? 76,680 naira. Very good. Now, let's total the both sides. We have at the credit side 201,680 naira and 150,000 naira. Add up the two. Okay, we have two. The total, the two is what? 351,680. That's good. Now let's go to the debit side. We are going to add up all the figures on the debit side. And the figures are 230,000. Be adding now. Don't waste time. 230,000. Then 25,000. Arrange it very well so that you get it easily. Then next one is 20,000 naira. Then the cash book balance, which is 76,680. Total the four of them. There are four of them. 230, 25,000 naira, 20,000 and 76,680. Okay. Very good. It gives us 351,680. Then the credit side, total it. It also gives us 351,608. Have you seen now? The two sides are equal. Very lovely. So I would want you to do this assignment. Do this assignment. If you look at it, you see that preparing a trial balance is not difficult. It's so simple. So let's try ourselves with this assignment. I hope you went home with your business studies, textbook. The WAP Business Studies textbook for JS3. WAP. WABP. WAP JS3 Business Studies textbook. Very good. If you have your own, get page 93. Page 93. Open it up. Be fast. And number 2. Just do only number 2. Follow this procedure. Follow this method. Follow this step. These steps we adopted. You will get it. Thank you. Do the assignment. Don't joke with it. So let me say it again. I will not tolerate it again. Some of you will write assignment. You pass it to another person, another student to copy. and you send the same assignment, send handwriting, say, no, I will not tolerate it again. Do your own assignment. Practice. Do it. And if you don't understand, you let me know. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.